It's been a long time coming, but the squad is back, and Behind the Glass has a brand new intro. Take a look. That is right, boys. We have made it. Our emojis are now officially in Tegna's tank of graphics, and I don't think that equates to a pay increase, but you know what, Steve Becker? We're always watching. Our faces are now officially branded Tegna property, and I want my royalty checks from that. Joining me today, as always, in the Behind the Glass crew is the injured Anthony Antonelli, which we'll talk about in a sec. And there is his cast. Ant was working remote today. I got a text at 4 a.m. saying he was in urgent care. So I'll let him tell you guys that story. And we have Earl of Pearl, as always, coming at you live from the studio. We'll get to Ant's injury. We'll get to grading some of the panelists' takes. We'll get to some wedding stories in a sec. But first, Earl, you're wearing the Guardian shirt. They swept the Mets. They have now won 6 in a row, 9 of the last 10. And you've been preaching this for weeks now, that the Guardians are no fluke. This team is legit. And the more and more we play, the more and more we see from this team, the harder and harder it is to deny that claim.
Yeah, big facts, man. You get a you get a series sweep against a team that you rightfully should beat. Would that improve our record to 33-17? To put that in respect, the Dodgers have more losses right now than the Cleveland Guardians do. So that should tell you a lot about where we are, man. Tied for the best record in the American League. Shout out to Johnathan Rodriguez, who got his first major league hit today. And the major league hit ended up being an RBI, the go-ahead RBI that all but clinched the series win for the Guardians. So it's exciting to see this team playing good baseball. I think everybody on this panel could agree that in the summertime in Cleveland, man, listen, it's already beautiful downtown. The food is good. And if the Guardians is winning and they're pretty good, then it creates one hell of a summer atmosphere right here in Cleveland.
And before you chime in, I want the people to know that we made Johnathan Rodriguez stats today for the show. And Earl goes, hey, I'm nicknaming him J-Rod, not because he's earned a nickname yet, but because it saves me about 6 clicks on my keyboard. But now, Earl, is he J-Rod? He's got an RBI, his first major league hit in the books. Are you willing to commit to that nickname, or is that just going to be for graphic purposes to save you about 6 clicks to save an Onathan and a Iguez?
It's for graphics purposes. Now, if he can get about 3 more hits in the next week or so, it might start to stick. But right now, it's just to save some time. And we got so much to do in the mornings. Those 6 clicks, man. I might need them on the back end. You never know.
Hey, well, we did have to fill in for Anthony this morning, so I'll catch you some slack. Ant, the Guardians keep on winning. You, and by you I mean Austin Hedges, had a bunt today that played a big role in the win. So how do you feel about this Guardians team, man? It's impressive. It's hard to deny the fact that they're playing as good a baseball as any team in baseball right now.
Yeah, so I turned off our show today and immediately turned on Bally's to watch the game. Watched pretty much every pitch today. And, man, it's good to just, sit back and realize how fun the Guardians are this year. We were down 0-3. I wasn't even sweating. And Jimenez comes up, hits that 3-run home run. As much celebration as I have in me today, I was sitting alone woo, let's go. They're fun, man. They're fun to watch. You can tell that they're having fun out there. And they just embody just the city. It's just a good time all around when they're winning. And I'm looking forward to the season continuing this summer.
Y'all got a question.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, shoot.
So that was, I think, because Jimenez came into this series on a mini hitting streak. And he hadn't had a hit all series. And for him to come up big in the clutch like that, man, when the team needed it most, you seen his energy when he was rounding the bases. Dude was jacked, man. So good for him, especially going against that team. Shout out to him.
I mean, that was his former team. Obviously, he was the key piece in the Francisco Lindor trade. It's funny if you look at Tristan McKenzie's stat line today. I want to read this, and I want to read this exactly. This is not a typo. This is not a mistake. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 runs allowed, 3 earned runs allowed, 3 home runs allowed. 5 across the board. He didn't give up many hits. The ones he did give up were hit pretty damn hard, and that's been kind of the issue with Tristan McKenzie. But overall, you get 3 innings. You get 5 innings, 3-run baseball from your starter. You're going to give yourself a chance to win. And this Guardians team keeps finding ways to overcome the odds. And today it was Jimenez with a 3-run home run. Then it was Manzardo knocking in a run. Rodriguez knocked in a run. Jose doing what Jose does. He now leads the American League and all of baseball until tonight's game and runs batted in, which is crazy because since Stephen Kwan has gone out of the lineup, part of the reason his RBI total was so high early was, Stephen Kwan was getting on base 4 to 10 times. They got Tyler Freeman in the leadoff spot. They've been messing with Jimenez. They've been putting all these different guys and mixing, matching the lineup. But the one constant has been Jose's driving in whoever's on base. And it has been fewer and further between with Kwan in the IL, but he's still finding ways to make an impact. And he started the season slow. I think it was a fair question to ask. Hey, has Jose reached the peak? Have we seen the best version of Jose? And guess what? He's told us to shut the F up. I got more in my back pocket, so enjoy the ride. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy the Jose Ramirez and this Guardians hot streak. They may not win 2 out of every 3 games the rest of the season, but there's no reason this team can't win 90, 95 games this year.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and I said it a couple weeks ago. I think most of, at least the city, fans locally have bought into, okay, this team is for real. This can be sustained, and just get ready to enjoy the summer. I think if anything, man, the Cleveland Guardians are only going to get better. You got to think Quan just started his rehab. You got Gavin Williams who's going to eventually be back. You got the 2 of your top prospects now in the major leagues, and Manzardo and Rodriguez. You only believe that they're going to get better as the season goes on. David Frodden came out of nowhere. He's having a hell of a season.
Yep.
I know Bull was big on Rocchio before the year started. There's a possibility that he can find his bat. The Tyler Freeman experiment seems to be working. And so as we get further and further along in the season, to me, I see the dudes that's balling out, the young guys especially. I can only hope that they can sustain that and it continues throughout the year. And then the core guys like Jose and Naylor, they're going to do what they do, right? Like they've proven that they can be trusted. But I'm with y'all, man. Like, Tristan has been hard to figure out. He goes out there. He seems like he pitches good and bad all in the same game. Like he can get you out.
Great way to put it.
But it's like when he give up runs, they are long and hard. And then it's like the outs are even loud out. So hopefully he can get that command together, because it seems like to me, if he can't command his off-speed stuff and the batters know that, then they know what to sit on. So.
Yeah, he was at, I think, almost like 46 pitches in the top of the second at one, or top of the third, maybe. It was that stat line that you read, Mike. It looked a lot worse than that actually was.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
It looked tough.
He has to work for outs, but guess what? He's getting outs. And right now, the Guardians, just like McKenzie's finding ways to get outs that may be unconventional and not the prettiest. He's getting the outs the Guardians need, just like the Guardians are finding ways to win. They just swept the Mets, who, by the way, I'm not sure if they have, because they've traded Verlander away. They've shed some salary. That was a $300 million lineup last season. A $300 million ball club. I don't know what the number is this year. I'll look it up when I stop talking, but they not only outspend the Guardians, they significantly outspend the Guardians. And one series is just one series. It's 3 games. It is what it is. They were all, relatively close, but the Guardians on a budget continue to find ways to win, and it's weird pitchers. It's Ben Lively. It's Carlos Carrasco. It's, Tanner Bobby's finding his own. It's Logan Allen. And Curry pitched pretty decent last night. Got a little sketchy at the end with Curry, but they've gotten contributions from everybody. Their bullpen has been stellar. Outside of 3 bad outings in a row from Gaddis, Clase is the best closer in baseball. The rest of their bullpen's been lights out, and they're hitting just enough. Like, this lineup isn't mashing. They're 11th in team home runs right now in the major leagues. They have a couple guys who have an OPS above league average, but top to bottom, they're not mashing. They're just getting timely hitting from guys at the first spot in the lineup and the leadoff all the way to the 9 spot in the lineup, and you never know where it's going to come from. And I go back to Sunday. Will Brennan, on pace for 15 home runs and 60 RBIs this year as a platoon right fielder. Who in the world saw that besides this guy? Because I've been driving the Will Brennan MVP train. But you know what I'm saying? It's been awesome to see that on any given night, you don't know where the production is going to come from in the lineup. You don't know if the starting pitcher is going to have it. But through 50 games, way more often than not, it's come together in the result we want.
You know what's crazy about Gaddis? I was thinking back to it because we was all pretty hard on him for that 3-game stretch. Coming into yesterday's game, he still carried an ERA under like 2.2. So it was like, even with that bad 3-game stretch, he's been pretty solid out the bullpen.
Yeah.
And when you getting these I just gotta believe that Stephen Vogt didn't come into this season thinking that if he had to go to a plan B, that Ben Lively would be able to, play the way that he's played, pitch the way that he's pitched.
They signed him for nothing, Earl. They signed him for literal pennies in baseball terms.
Yeah, and it's like to be getting, production out of that dude, the resurgence for him, man, good for him, right? Like good for him and good for the Guardians right now. It's funny because we talk a lot about, wanting to see this franchise spend a little bit more money and improve this roster. And it's really, man, they make it hard to make cases like that when they can easily point to the LA Dodgers right now, the Cleveland Guardians right now. Look at the difference in payroll, and then the teams are basically on the same level, at least to this point of the season. It's just kind of fascinating how baseball works sometimes.
And I was just looking up the Mets payroll, by the way, $311 million this year.
That's crazy.
311. For
That's
comparison's
crazy.
sakes, the Guardians, according to Spotrac, are 25th at $101 million. So literally 3 times as many dollars spent for your entire team as the Guardians. And it goes to show you, it doesn't always matter how much you pay. The Guardians have continuously found ways to get bargain players to excel and get their rookies who they call up to contribute. Manzardo had an RBI tonight. Rodriguez had an RBI tonight. DeLauder might be their best offensive prospect in the farm system. He just came off injury in double, I forget where he is, double A, I believe. They're about to have the number 1 overall pick in the draft next month. They're going to take a hitter. I don't think he'll be in the lineup anywhere near 2023, but 2024, there's a real chance we could see whoever they take number 1 overall as an addition to this already lineup, to a lineup that's already producing at not just the league average level right now, but an above average level. They're a top 12 offense in baseball in almost any metric you want to look at. Barrels, runs per game, home runs. They're getting on base. It's unconventional and it's not necessarily pretty, but who gives a shit if they're winning?
Yeah, I think we could all echo that. Like, who gives a damn? As long as they winning and as long as they finding different ways to win, I think that helps them as they come down the stretch, right? Like that's how you allow yourself to become battle tested, especially, baseball, 162 games, man. By the time that you get to September, you want to be in a position to where you could be like, okay, I've pretty much seen everything that I can see in a single season of baseball. Yeah. And to know how to win in multiple ways, and you could actually count on the long ball this year, like that's pretty dope. I think another thing that I got to give Stephen Vogt credit for is I've only seen it a few games, fellas, but it seems like when he decides to pinch hit, it's like the right call at the right moment. It seems like damn near every single time. Like I don't know if it's him having the feel for the game because he was a catcher. And we all know catcher's responsibility, and it seems like how they're pretty much in tune with everything around them. But it seemed like, man, Vogt has a pretty good niche of when to call for a pinch hitter.
Yeah, he's hit all the right buttons so far, and it's been impressive.
Yeah, when Manzardo came in for Arias today, I was like, thank God. Yeah.
And, coming up in the next 9 games, they have a pretty favorable schedule before they take on the Kansas City Royals in what should be an absolutely rocking series to start off the month of June. Speaking of rocking, and this is what people tuned in for tonight. It was not our Guardians takes. It's not us BSing about other things. They want to know, show them the cast.
Oh, yes. Did you guys talk about it today on the show?
Your hand. I want to read the text.
We talked about it in the office.
Oh, all right. That's fair.
I didn't say it on the show. I want to read the text. I'm going to read you the exact exchange.
At
4:44 this morning, Anthony Antonelli. Hey, I might be in late today. I'm heading to the ER right now. I'm not sure what's wrong with my entire left hand, but it's in a shooting pain, and I can't move my thumb. I'll keep you updated. Yeah. Obviously, I was sleeping. An hour later at 5:48 a.m., waiting on x-rays, but the doctor thinks I sprained my thumb. So, Ant, how, who, what, where, why? Give us the details on this mystery thumb injury that kept you out of the office on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
All right. In my defense, the ER kept me out of the office because I could have left at like 7 o'clock and they kept me there until 9:30. I was waiting on my x-rays. Turns out my entire wrist is sprained. I don't know how I did it. Genuinely. I have no clue. I drove for like 13 hours and I'm left-handed. So they thought like, hey, then you may have just twisted it like while you were driving. And I was like, come on, man, I'm 26.
Real quick, before you continue, Anthony,
y'all got jokes. I know. I know y'all got jokes.
If you're in the chat, let us know how you believe Anthony sprained his left wrist.
And
If
remember, I'll
you're in the
ban
chat,
all of
we'll
you.
read these at the end, but give us your best guess and best explanation as to how Anthony injured his left wrist. Anthony, continue. Did not mean to cut you off, but they think it may have been a driving injury. Were you drag racing? Were you F1? How bad was the G-force on the highway between Chicago and Cleveland, man? It's like an 80 mile an hour.
80, 85. But I don't know. No, genuinely, I have no idea how this worked. Like, this is the only thing out of the ordinary that I did this weekend was all the driving. Like, I genuinely have no idea. And I know Earl has his theories, and Steve Becker has his theories, and Steve Current has his theories, and the entire panel have their theories. But it's just, I don't know. It's been bothering me since Monday, and I just woke up in shooting pain this morning. So that's where I am.
Did you hit it at the wedding? Like, could it be wedding related?
I might have. So the dance floor at this wedding was incredibly small. Like, I mean, we're talking like the size of our studio. So like there's a chance, but I don't know, man. That was Saturday night. This didn't start bothering me until Monday.
Was it a mosh pit? Did a mosh pit break at the wedding?
No, there was no mosh pit, thank God.
Earl, we're about to interrogate Anthony, so just fire away if you got a question.
Hey, no, all I'm gonna say is AO Rage just dropped a comment. I agree.
Nah, Plasma Void.
I agree.
Plasma. We'll get to it at the end, but Plasma Void might have the early winner, and it's right along. And
I got on our 2:30 call today, and that was the immediate first thing Becker said to me. He's like, he didn't even know I was in the ER. I never texted him, and I told him how I was feeling, and he's like, "Oh, well, you just got to stop that." And I was like, "Well,
you'll be all right, man."
You're right.
And I'm being serious with this. Was Bree injured? Did she also hurt her wrist this weekend?
No,
I'm not making a joke. I'm being serious. No.
Bree is 100% fine.
Serious. Is this like a dual injury, or is this just simply somehow you really screwed up your wrist? Because I've done that before. Like,
so this was a solo injury.
Hey, dude, I don't know where it came from.
This injury
what
alone.
Happened. Yep, this was all me.
Do you believe the room was dark when the injury was sustained, or was there a shade open? Listen, I just got done watching the OJ doc. I'm great at cross prosecution right now.
Was the iPad on and running at the time of the injury?
Well, the gloves didn't fit, so that may have been the first issue.
Ooh, the gloves. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I wonder if the glove was from Marshall's or from the gas station, Earl.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. Look, my final cross-examination comment though is I genuinely don't know how this happened. I've also been up since 3:45. So
yeah. So my last question: Did you wake up in pain? Like, is that because all jokes aside now? I got the text. 4:40 in the morning. So you woke up in pain.
I woke up from the pain. Yeah, okay. No, I woke up from it. I was like, uh-oh. Like it was sore the last couple days, and I just ignored it. I usually ignore most soreness and pains because it's whatever, like I lift, I play sports, it's whatever. And I woke up, I must have rolled over on my sleep or something because, man, I did not feel good this morning. I was struggling to send that text to you.
Mike, we know Ant well, though. Something tells me, man, he attended a concert that we don't know about. The concert got crazy.
Okay. Let me speak on that, though, because I was at a wedding all weekend, and one of the biggest rock festivals in Columbus was happening this weekend, and I had to miss it. So, Earl, trust me, if I was at a concert, you would have known about it.
So did you enjoy the wedding, or was like the concert playing in the back of your head the entire time that you was in Chicago?
Oh, I was getting updates from all my friends at the concert while I was in Chicago. But I actually had a great time. Shout out to Bree and Bree's friends. Bree's, like, they're all of her college friends. Awesome. Like, first time meeting all of them. Had a wonderful time with everybody. Like, and congratulations to the bride and groom, who I did not get a chance to meet because they were blackout by the time the reception started.
How it should be.
They were having a great time.
Are you able to work tomorrow?
I'll be in.
Okay. Able to cut montages?
Yeah, I mean, I use my right hand for the mouse. It's fine.
Once again, I'm just getting my bases covered. I also have texted your girlfriend to ask what happened, and she just said, "LMAFO, what did he tell you?" And I'm gonna say,
she doesn't even watch behind the glass.
I'm gonna say he said he was driving, but that sounds way too suspicious.
Yeah, I walked in the office. Mike told me what happened. I just looked at Mike and started laughing. I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever.
Well,
Like,
Ant,
whatever.
we wish
I
you a speedy
genuinely wish
recovery,
it was
and-
as funny as a. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, you go.
I genuinely wish it was as like funny as a story as we're all making it out to be. It's kind of just I'm 26 and my body's falling apart already, is what it seems like, and I'm kind of annoyed about it.
Well, what people don't know about Ant, and Ant, I don't think you're gonna have an issue with me saying this, and if you do, I truly apologize. People don't.
It's okay. We'll cut it in post.
Ant had open heart surgery, which like people don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if a lot of people know that, but Ant has a giant scar down the middle of his chest, and you know,
Like right.
I genuinely believe Ant when he said, even though I don't believe the driving part, I think that's completely.
That was my guess, to be fair.
You know, I come with a better guess tomorrow when Jason
call
and
him bullshit on
Jason
the
and
driving
Tyvis
too.
ask you, like,
You call
don't
him
say
bullshit on the
driving.
driving too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, I mean that's fair.
Anthony's been through some real shit. Like I've seen the scar like that. And Ant, if you want to tell the story more, but you're more than welcome to. But like, isn't your first rodeo, your first injury. So
Yeah, no, the heart surgery. I was born with like my heart didn't form when I was born. Like I had 4 holes in my heart. I still have one of them to this day. It's small, so like it's not like a problem or anything. But one of them was big enough that I needed surgery when I was 7 to get it all fixed up. So I've had the scar for most of my life at this point that I remember.
yeah,
Like, that's really all there is to that story. Like that, I was in the hospital for 2 days after heart surgery, and I was like, "Hey, I'm ready to go home. I just got a new PS2 for Christmas, and I want to play Star Wars Battlefront." And they were like, "Well, you clear all the checklists, so you can go home."
Damn straight. Earl, are we done with the Anthony injuries? Should we move on to the next topic tonight?
Yeah, let's move on to the.
I don't even know what the next topic is.
The next topic is we're going to grade some of the takes we heard on the show today.
Oh,
I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Oh, let's do this.
This could be
Let's
a
do
complete
this.
dud, or this could be awesome. And if it's awesome, we'll do it again. I need you guys in the chat to let us know if you like this or if you hate it. If it sucks, I will not be offended at all. Aunt Bree says if he said he was driving, that's what happened.
That's my girlfriend right there.
So she's got your back.
She's a ride or fucking die.
She's got your
yes.
back.
I
She's a
respect
ride
her
or
for
die.
that.
Yeah.
I respect her for that. She said whatever that man
I am
said.
gonna give her.
happened.
I am gonna give her trouble for not watching Behind the Glass live, though. I know she's home.
Yes. So yeah, if you guys hate this, we'll never do it again. That's totally fine. Be honest. We appreciate your guys' feedback, but let's grade some takes. Let's start early and we'll make our way to the end of the show. But Deshaun Watson ranked 23rd by PFF today. We got hot in the group chat on Tuesday night about it, mostly because we thought it was ridiculous to rank a rookie quarterback ahead of, frankly, any proven quarterback just because it's a complete unknown. We've seen so many rookies have success. We've seen even more rookies be complete failures from the get-go. For every CJ Stroud, there's 10 Zach Wilsons. So, Earl, let's start with G. Bush's take of there's no way in hell a rookie quarterback should be ranked ahead of Deshaun Watson. How would you grade G. Bush's take on that particular topic? You're on mute, Earl. Unmute yourself.
Well, there you go. When it comes to that particular topic and how that particular part was formed, I gotta agree with him. And it's not even just about Deshaun Watson. I'm a person that believe if you got at least 1 year of service of quarterback in the NFL, no matter if you were Patrick Mahomes or Bryce Young, then you got to be ranked ahead of a rookie. Because no matter how highly a rookie comes touted into the NFL, the fact of the matter is you have not played a single snap, and this is a grown man's league, right? And grown men shit goes down in the NFL. So for somebody to have a preseason ranking of a rookie quarterback who's not done a damn thing ahead of any quarterback that's played at least 1 year, then I think that's foolery. I think that's foolish, right? And I think anybody has the right to tear something like that apart when you put that type of opinion out there.
And I know you weren't here today. I know you watched, though. Would you also agree with G's take? Was that the right take? Or would you be on the side of, hey, he's a rookie, he's number 1 pick for a reason. I think he doesn't have to prove anything before I can rank him ahead of some of these other guys.
No, every time you go to the next level, you start at the ground. Like you got to prove everything. Anytime you change levels, I think in any sport, in any job, even right for the most part, like G is right on the money with that. Like I know Watson hasn't been like what we wanted him to be yet, but putting a rookie quarterback, I don't care if he was taken number 1. It's kind of insulting to anybody that was underneath him, because wasn't Baker also underneath him? I don't remember from off the top of my head.
Yeah, Baker was underneath him too.
Yeah.
That's just a clown list, if in my opinion. And I know G was hot in the group text. I tried keeping up with all of it because he was just going. And I mean, he's right though. Like 100% he's right.
I'm going to give G a C for his take, not because he's wrong, because I agree with G. But because after the whole tirade of how could he be, G ranked him 19th. G literally just put him ahead of 3/4. Like after hearing that buildup, I was ready for G to tell me he's top 10, top 12. But only with what 4 spots, I thought it was a little.
I had him 17.
Well, at least that's 6 spots. We're talking one hand.
Yeah, I had him 17.
It's one real hand, not one Anthony hand right now. It's one real hand. Like if you're gonna argue for that much, you got to give me at least 2 hands or one real hand, not Anthony's broken wrist.
Thanks. No, I don't know where I'd have him at. G argued that much just to put him in 19th. Who did he have him ahead of?
He put him ahead of Derek Carr, Russell Wilson. He had Baker ahead of Deshaun.
Okay.
So he made Baker 18, Deshaun 19. And then he didn't tell us the order of the next 3, but he had Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Caleb Williams after. So he just shuffled it. He just literally just moved them ahead of the guys in his tier.
Yeah, I moved Baker and Deshaun up. Like I thought that second tier, that 17 through 20 was BS. Like, I'm sorry. And I get it. Like Geno Smith did have a great season and a half, but let's be honest with ourselves, man. Geno is not better than Baker Mayfield or Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. Like, let's just keep it real. Like,
yeah, I mean, my biggest hit in the whole list is Kyler Murray. Like, guys, I think Kyler, when he's healthy, can be good, but he's just like Deshaun, not finished 2 consecutive seasons, and his highs have never been as high as Deshaun Watson highs.
Yeah.
So to still put him, I actually didn't have an issue with the explanation of how Trevor Sycamore ranked Deshaun Watson. When he explained it, he goes, hey, he hasn't been great in Cleveland. His passer rating, according to PFF, ranks 53rd out of qualified quarterbacks. What he did in Houston is real. We just have to see it again. I think his reasoning to put Deshaun in the group he did is fair. However, what the hell has Kyler Murray done to be 6 spots ahead of him when Kyler's peak hasn't come close to what Deshaun's peak is? So they both have the same injury issues. They both have had the same, and by injury, I mean just haven't finished the season. We haven't seen either of them play at their best since 2021 or 2020. So I thought the back end of the list was a little convoluted, but overall, I didn't disagree with his reasoning of how he ranked Deshaun. Let's talk a little Cavs, and we'll start with you on this one. We had 2 Cavs topics today. The first was whether or not the Cavs are potentially missing out on top-tier head coaching candidates by taking this long to make a decision on JB Bickerstaff's future. By the way, Kobe Altman scheduled to speak Friday. So this whole saga will come to an end one way or another on Friday. He may extend JB and say, he's our guy, we're running it back. He may say, JB, thank you for what you've done for this team, but we're going to go in a different direction. We'll find out Friday, and that should be a fun show because we'll have to react one way or another to whatever Kobe says. But all 3 panelists today said they are not worried about potentially missing out on top-tier candidates by waiting, even though they aren't officially starting interviews until they decide to make a move if they decide to go in that route. Do you agree with all 3? How they doing their takes on that particular topic?
I agree with him, and I think Tyvis had the best breakdown of it when he was going through the other teams. I know he said, like, Washington still has an opening. Nobody wants to go to Washington. The Lakers are already pretty much set on their top 2-3 candidates. I know they haven't released anything, but, I mean, LeBron does a podcast with JJ, doesn't he? Like, that's the new podcast that came out.
I do think there's a little crossover in the Lakers-Cavs coaching search.
There might be, because, I mean, if we have a genuine shot.
Sam Cassell and James Borrego in particular, I think are going to get high consideration for both, which could play a factor. But
if they're guys LeBron wants, both teams are obviously going to look at them anyways. Yeah. But I agree. I think Tyvis had the best take on it. I'll give Tyvis as an A. I didn't hear most of the breakdown from everybody else. I was kind of in and out today, but that's my take on that. I think we're going to be fine. We'll find somebody, and I was surprised to hear that we were interviewing people outside because I know Dan usually likes to hire in organization.
For the GM, not for the coach.
For the GM. Okay. The GM. My apologies. But yes.
My gut tells me Kobe will be the GM next, regardless of the head coach. I feel like Kobe's safe. We also talked about Evan Mobley and max contracts. Do you believe he's worth the max? How did the guys do breaking down that particular topic on today's show? And unmute yourself first.
This dude's on his first Zoom call.
To be honest with you, I think you had the best take as far as Evan Mobley goes. I think the Cavs are handcuffed. Here's the facts of the matter, right? You got a 6'11 big man that got ball skills, that can pass the ball, that have the athleticism, is an elite defender, and still trying to find his way offensively. The truth of the matter is, man, you know, the representation for Evan Mobley told the Cavaliers not to draft him, right? They drafted him anyway. And so you don't know if the relationship has developed. You don't know what his thoughts are as far as, you know, his future plans for his career, etc. I think that you do yourself a disservice and you put yourself a little bit behind an 8-ball playing around with this man like that, if you want to know the truth about it. I also think that this is the cheapest he's ever going to be in his career. You got to take advantage of it. Like, if you trust Evan Mobley's development the way that you say you do, and you don't plan on making him part of any other trade package, then go ahead and give him the rookie max. How I see it, not even trying to be funny, but you gave it to Darius Garland. If you can give it to Darius Garland, you can give it to Evan Mobley. So
what's funny is Earl said he agreed with my take, and I think Earl did a better job articulating my take than I did. So kudos to you, Earl, for making my point even better than yours. And this is the last one we'll do. Then we'll move on to our last topic of the show, and we'll read some comments and get into all the fun stuff in the chat. We did some wild fake trades today. I got aggregated for the first time in my life, which
and Earl's very much wrong.
On the other hand, I'm pissed off because I made it explicitly clear a million times these are all fake and stupid, but still someone put it out there. Then I had people tweet at me all day saying, what the hell is this? And I'm like, if y'all looked from the first place, I said this was stupid and weird and not to be taken seriously. So with that being said, the trade I proposed first was MJ Emerson, DeJuan Jones, Elijah Moore, a first and a third for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, no brainer.
Half of this panel, or 2/3 of the panel out there, said yes, and Earl said no. So I want you to grade Earl's take. I don't want to hear whether you would take it or whether you would not. I want to hear your grade of Earl's take.
He's expelled, suspended, detentions. He's out. No, when I had the show up on my TV, keeping track of the ads today, and I walked out of the room for maybe 2 minutes, and I heard Earl go, "I'm not taking that trade," and I poked my head back around and was like, "Did I hear that right?" And Earl, my man, like,
I'm not.
Justin Jefferson? Are you insane?
Listen. So it started off as a joke.
Real quick, are you giving Earl an F?
He said F minus.
Yeah, I said F minus, expelled, suspension, whatever you want to throw at him.
Listen, it started off as a running joke, but the more that the day got on, I'm serious as hell. I'm not taking that trade, and I'm gonna tell you why. Kevin Stefanski has been out here, you know, doing his media rounds, and he said it. And if you look at how the Cleveland Browns went about their draft plans this year, right? You look at some of the free agents that was brought in this year. Football is won and lost up front. It starts up front. It's the old cliche. The game is won or lost in the trenches. You already somehow, some way stole a first round, probably top 15 pick overall in DeJuan Jones in the 4th round. If you had to redo that draft today, you probably don't even have DeJuan Jones on your team. Then you had the audacity a couple of years ago to do the same thing with MJ Emerson, right? You get a corner like that in the 3rd round who never allowed a touchdown while playing football in the SEC, who's already shown that he has great ball skills since he's been in the NFL. He didn't give up a touchdown last year. Now, he needs to work on that long end speed. He got things in his game that needs to develop. But when I look at positions of priority, of importance in the NFL, sure, wide receiver is one of them. But I feel like I got a better chance finding a top flight wide receiver than I do a top flight tackle or a top flight corner. And that's when I see it that way, it's like, okay, yeah, Justin Jefferson is damn good. But man, I got a better chance of finding me another Justin Jefferson than I do a DeJuan Jones and an MJ Emerson. And maybe that's a crazy ass take, but like that's basically essentially asking me, because I think it was a couple 1st round picks associated with that, right?
One first, 1/3 more. So essentially, I'm giving up 3 1st round picks in a 3rd for a guy that's a 1st round pick. That's not a winning trade in my mind.
Yeah, but you're also believing that Elijah Moore is a 1st round pick.
No. He's saying the one real first, and then DeJuan is a first, and MJ is a first.
My apologies. Yeah, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Here's my only counter argument to that. You can go and you can get Justin Jefferson. You don't have to rely as much on Jerry Jeudy. So you don't have to worry about, is he a good receiver or was he surrounded by bad talent? And you have Andrew Berry, who is elite at drafting defensive talent. And we have an elite depth at our defense. I would feel more comfortable getting rid of those guys for an elite receiver that I know Barry cannot draft at this point for Deshaun Watson.
Listen,
Yeah,
Earl, here's why I think
DeJuan Jones is our best tackle, though. That's our best tackle. If you trade DeJuan Jones,
we think he is.
How many games did he play last year? 11?
He played 8 or 9 games before he got hurt.
We think he is. We think
and he got hurt.
Listen, we love Amari Cooper, right? We love Amari Cooper.
Right.
He had arguably his best season last year, right?
And he's going to be your number 2.
He had 72 receptions for 1,250 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. Best season of his career, 72 catches, 1,250 yards, 5 touchdowns. Can we agree that's his best season, right?
Yeah.
If you want to say his 2022 season, his first with Cleveland, was a little better, he had 78 catches, so 6 more catches. He had 1,160 yards, 90 fewer yards, and 9 touchdowns. So his 2 best seasons, 1,250 or 1,160. Justin Jefferson, as a rookie, had 88 catches for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. In his second season, Justin Jefferson had 108 catches for 1,616 yards and 10 touchdowns. In 2022, Justin Jefferson had 128 catches, 1,800 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And last season, in 9 games, had 68 catches for 1,074 yards and 5 touchdowns.
And he was playing
Justin Jefferson is eons better than Amari Cooper. And I like Amari Cooper. We're talking about a top 15 guy versus arguably the best receiver in football. Earl, we're talking about a game-changing talent. As good as MJ Emerson is, as good as DeJuan Jones could be, you're getting a bona fide, legitimate superstar who's 24 years old.
Cooking, Mike.
And I got a bona fide superstar at corner. I got a bona fide superstar.
You already have Denzel Ward.
Yeah, that's cool. So now I got 2 superstars. Like, I get it, man. Justin Jefferson is a straight up beast, right? But if I was to look at it, right, I just trust the fact that Andrew Berry can go get that type of talent without giving up that type of talent.
The type of talent he went and got was Jerry Jeudy, and that is a giant question mark. The same way
Elijah
Moore was.
Listen, it's a giant question mark, but if it hit, it hit. I'm just not But I don't want to make no argument. I get it.
Guaranteed hit.
I get it. It's hard to make an argument against Justin Jefferson, man, but you asking me to give up 2 players that play 2 primary positions for a guy who do play a primary position, but man, it's got to be another way. It's got to be another way. I can't see that being the case.
I can't imagine. Like, I don't know what else you would trade for that, but I mean, I'd take that trade in a heartbeat.
I can't, man. I can't.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is, it's like, as much as I love MJ, man, I think DeJuan Jones is the more priority player in the trade that I just can't part with. Believe it or not.
So if you had to switch out DeJuan, who would you switch in there to take that trade?
The issue is Minnesota needs to, they're not doing it without.
Yeah, they're in full rebuild.
It can't be DeJuan Jones, but you're going to have to take the expiring contract of Conklin or something.
They're not doing that. You're out of your mind.
Or you could take Teller. You could take Wyatt Teller.
They might take Teller.
You could take Teller.
They need a tackle, but that's why fake trades are fun. That's why fake trades are fun. All right, we're gonna read some viewer comments here and wrap it up for the day on the first Behind the Glass we've done in a while. While I'm getting to the viewer comments, I'm gonna play a theme song again. If you guys missed it off the top, we got a new theme song with emojis in it, and why not play it again? It's 8 seconds.
Don't it just make you want to create content?
It does. It
like,
does.
Get new toys. Don't it just make you want to do something with it?
That email popped up in Earl's.
So we're going to try to read a bunch of these real quick. Chris Gillespie says the cool kids. Talk about the Guardians. Brian Butterfield says, what's up, McNuggets? Good to see you. Love the Guards action. I see us winning 9 to Colorado. Studley Asian Matt says roll Tribe. AO Rage says Guards are cooking. Adam H says I caught the highlights. What a freaking game. AO Rage. Jimenez coming through with the clutch 3-run bomb. David Fry is so valuable. The guy can play everywhere, even if he's a catcher, which is wild. Chris Gillespie says if Quan wasn't hurt, I think we would have even more wins. They found ways to win without Quan, which is impressive. KW Outdoors says, Mike, what shoes do you hoop in? Right now, I'm playing in some John Morant's. I don't love them. I was playing in Kyrie's before. They're my favorite basketball shoes of all time, but Nike stopped making them. Tough luck when you like to play in Kyrie Irving. So those are out of commission right now, but those are my favorite basketball shoes of all time. Plasma Void's in the chat. What's up, Plasma? D Drastic 651 says Himmy kissing his jersey after that 3-run bomb was a direct shot at Lindor. Earl, did you take it that way?
You know what? Even if it was, the hell with it. Jimenez on our team.
Hey,
you know, it was cool. It was cool to see my boy Frankie. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to go through all that. But I'm glad that they left with a sour taste in their mouth. And you know, it's funny because on the Ultimate 216 show, I always try to find like a real life parallel to sports. And to hear Frankie talk this weekend, he sounded like a dude who is miserable in New York and who really, really misses the city of Cleveland. And it's funny because we have conversations about money all the time, man. Like my dad used to say, shit ain't broke unless you broke. But outside of that, money ain't everything. Because I guarantee you, if that dude can do it all over again, he probably would cut that thing in half and he'd be a Cleveland Guardian still. I guarantee you that.
All right, keep moving on here. Chris Gillespie says Anthony is the resident drunk. LOL. Don't know how he got hurt.
I was sober for the wedding too. That was the worst part.
You were sober for the wedding?
Look, yeah, we both shocked. Like you was sober.
No, I drank a little bit, but like it was Bree's friend, so I let her have like a good time. I don't even think she got drunk, but like it was a very low key wedding, like in a very nice town, but very low key.
I'll tell you, I drank enough for both of y'all then at my wedding this weekend. So
good to know.
You guys are good. AO Rage says, if I say how Anthony's wrist was injured, I'd probably get canceled. Plasma Void said he was driving all right, stick shift and all.
I'll take that size. That's fine.
Chris says, Anthony, tell him it's yours and you can wash it as much as you want. Drastic says he sprained his wrist doing the cha-cha slide. No, you can't hide your back. You can't hide it. Don't hide it.
Oh, that got me.
Says designated glove. Creative Juice says Amani Bates MVP next year or within 3. Earl, you want to try to answer that? Will he win an MVP?
No, Amani ain't winning no MVP. It will be interesting to see if he can actually get more run with the NBA squad next year, though.
Yeah. We got Evan, who's late. Shout out to Evan for being late, but still showing up. I appreciate that. Let's see. Drastic said McNuggets is on one, not an Anthony hand or real hand. Miles Westmoreland says refuse to lose like that Brother Lynch song.
Hey, Westmoreland. I ain't heard that. So like one of my favorite TV series is Prison Break.
Yeah, I love it all the time. It got bad at the end, but the first 2 seasons.
So you already Charles Westmoreland. You already know what I'm talking about, dude.
Yep. The first season of that was incredible.
Yeah, facts.
Incredible.
Facts.
Chris Gillespie says Geno Smith about done. KW Outdoors said, can Amani play the 3? He can shoot. And in the NBA, he's a 2 or 3 for sure. Can he defend threes, which we'll find out. He's going to get a chance to play next year. You know, I think he has a spot on this roster if he comes in a training camp and proves he can be more than just a 3-point shooter and scorer. But his body type and archetype fits a modern-day wing, and the Cavs desperately need wings with size. So we're going to get an answer to that next year, KW Outdoors. Creative Juice says, I don't know. I've got to believe JB's staying. How are you going to make a man wait for 10 days to fire him? We'll find out soon enough. Kobe Altman is scheduled to speak Friday. We may hear tomorrow. It may wait till Friday. We'll find out when it comes. Phil Bowman says, sun's out, guns out. It is beautiful. I got back from the gym and hopped right on here, so I didn't get a chance to change. That's my bad. Creative Juice, that's a Pearl McNugget combo. Earl did a better job than I did. I'm going to be honest. Earl outtaked my own take. I'm not sure that's ever happened on the show, but kudos to Earl for that. Creative Juice says Justin Jefferson is cold. If we had a dome, he made all pros look silly. Chris Gillespie.
No, he was talking about DeJuan when he was talking about he made all pros look silly.
Yeah.
Well, so did Justin Jefferson. They both made all pros in their own right. But he was talking about DeJuan Jones when he says he didn't get Watt versus Pittsburgh. He dominated TJ Watt. That was a lot of fun to watch. Chris Gillespie says he's been watching from a tree fort in his backyard. Shout out to you guys for tuning in and doing that. Ken said he would take the trade in a heartbeat.
I think Earl's the lone. I wouldn't.
Plasma
take
says
it.
he likes the intro video. Chris says the best spinoff of UCSS. Just a couple more here. Patrick says I'm 25 minutes behind, but hoping someone mentioned the $18 million in the Guardians, the payroll that isn't on the roster so far. We didn't necessarily mention that specifically, but Straw, Laureano, and Gene Segura make up 18.7% of the team's payroll, not in the major league rotation, and they're still winning. So damn good for the Guardians to prove that wrong. And last but not least, Chris Gillespie says tonight Kyrie proving the earth is flat with a dub. That game tips off in an hour and 15 minutes. You want to make some predictions, then we'll wrap up?
I think the Dallas Mavericks win this game one, but I think I know Luka is the man. I think Kyrie and Ant-Man both drop 30. I think Kyrie is built for moments like this. Kyrie been here before, man. Like, I miss that dude right now, like real bad.
Yeah, looking back on how Kyrie used to play in these clutch games compared to who we have now is sad to say the least. I got the Timberwolves actually winning though. I think they're just going to take the whole series. I think I got them in like 5.
I think it goes 7. I think it's a really close series. I don't love the matchups from Dallas's standpoint in terms of how they're going to have to guard Minnesota. And if Gobert can control the paint and force Luka and Kyrie to take a ton of mid-range shots as opposed to getting all the way to the cup, I think that could be a game changer. The Nuggets did not have the same type of rim protection that the Thunder did not have the same type of rim protection that they'll see in Minnesota.
That is facts.
And we saw the collapse last night of the Pacers. Was that their best chance to win the series, Earl, or is that it?
I think that's indicative to how the series is going to play out. You know, we talk a lot about teams in this small market and this smart market franchises in the NBA. And those are the franchises I think that have great player development, and then they have damn good coaches that have a system. And Rick Carlisle is an NBA champion coach, right? And he's going up against a very talented team, but man, do he got the coaching advantage in the series, right? And so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, because just because you're talented don't necessarily always mean you're the best team. So,
and last thing before we wrap, a little preview for everyone who tuned in. First off, we say thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for showing up. We really do enjoy your interactions throughout the show. And when you come on, especially for Behind the Glass, we'll give you a little teaser of what's coming up on UCSS tomorrow. Something we're going to talk about, and the panel tomorrow is Bull, Jason, and Tyvis. With TNT officially losing the NBA rights, it could be the end of NBA on TNT, which got me to start thinking, who's on your personal Mount Rushmore of media personalities? So I'm going to ask Bull that, I'm going to ask Jason that, and I'm going to ask Tyvis that. 3 completely different perspectives of what you individually like in sports media. And we're going to come to Mount Rushmores tomorrow.
Dylon, and Dylon.
Awesome. For Earl, for Ant, I'm McNuggets. We appreciate y'all tuning into Behind the Glass, and we'll see y'all tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Peace.